Tylosaurus is one of the biggest marine reptiles that ever existed, and a lot of people may know about it. However, of course, did you know that this is coming to Path of Titans? Well, that's exactly what we're talking about today. We're going to be talking about why it's coming to Path of Titans, what it was like, and what I think it will be like in Path of Titans. So of course, strap yourselves in because we're just going to dive right into it, and we're starting with why it's coming to Path of Titans. Let's get it. This is Tylosaurus in Path of Titans. Tylosaurus is one of the upcoming creatures to be coming in Path of Titans. This is quite simply put alongside many other upcoming creatures as well, alongside some of the dinosaurs that are coming like a Kilobate or Miragaia, as well as some of the other aquatics that are coming to the game as well, like Urinosaurus, leedsichthys, and of course Tylosaurus itself. In fact, Tylosaurus is part of the creature roster for aquatic creatures that comes along with other 4 creatures. You know, as I said, you had Urinosaurus, leedsichthys, Tylosaurus, and Kiwekkia. Those make up all the 4 aquatic creatures that are coming to Path of Titans. Tylosaurus was actually, as a fun fact, the first aquatic reptile that was actually met in terms of the crowdfunding campaign. All of these came from the crowdfunding campaign, and what makes this even more funnier is that Tylosaurus came before the Gondwana map. If you look at the stretch goals for Path of Titans, in terms of the funding, in terms of money, Tylosaurus comes first, Gondwana comes after that. So imagine Tylosaurus just plodding around or swimming in the Pandora Lake. That would be quite interesting, and I wonder how they'd actually manage to get it in there. That being said, this is a creature that came at the 160,000 Australian dollar margin, straight after the 144,000 Australian dollars that Microraptor was at, and of course just before the 177,000 Australian dollars that Thalassodromeus was at. The stretch goal basically says this for Tylosaurus: includes 1 model with 3 variants, 3 skins, animations, and a unique aquatic gameplay style and associated mechanics. So this is going to be an interesting creature, of course, and one thing we can kind of decipher on how it could be in the game was how it was actually like in terms of its paleo life, or its paleobiology or ecology and stuff like that. So let's just talk about what it could have been like in the past. Tylosaurus is a genus of mosasaur, which are quite simply put some of the largest marine reptiles to ever exist. They are large predatory marine reptiles which are more closely related to that of modern day monitor lizards and snakes than they are to the dinosaurs, which I think is really interesting because I'm pretty sure the mosasaurs came from lizards anyways that went into the water. They came from monitor lizards, or prehistoric monitor lizards that went into the water kind of that way to escape those dastardly dinosaurs. Of course, this creature came from the late Cretaceous, specifically the late Cretaceous of North America, and if we're going even specific again, it's from the state of Kansas. Yes, in the good old US of A. It was described firstly in 1869 from a very fragmented skull, which was around 1.5 meters long. Tylosaurus has a huge swathe of different species within its genus as well, from the biggest being Tylosaurus bernardi, all the way to the smallest, which is Tylosaurus borealis. However, borealis is very disputed, and I do believe the paper about it might not even be published fully yet. We're not too sure there. However, of course, if we're going to the smallest after that, the smallest undisputed Tylosaurus is Tylosaurus nepalicus. However, of course, the biggest, baddest Tylosaurus is what we're looking at here, because this is probably the one in Path of Titans will be modelled after, Tylosaurus bernardi, which is sat at over 10 meters long, including, if you include its tail, it's more put at like 11 to 12 meters long, but that makes this marine reptile absolutely massive. It's interesting because Tylosaurus is one of those prehistoric reptiles that we actually have a lot of information about as well. For example, preserved skin indicated that this creature possessed a high amount of the pigment eumelanin, which indicated it has dark coloration on its top, or where that skin came from, making it highly likely that Tylosaurus had some form of counter shading, something that is very common in marine creatures today. If you look at sharks, for example, The great white shark, the top is darker, the underbelly is lighter. That's because it's counter shading. If you're looking down in the depths, you'll see a darker top, so you're less likely to see it. But if you're looking up above, you'll see the lighter belly, which kind of reflects on the lighter water at the surface, and it's likely that Tylosaurus had that as well. We also know what this thing ate. It ate a lot of stuff, from birds, sharks, fish, turtles, and so much more. This is basically like the tiger shark of the late Cretaceous ocean. Perhaps this could be something that's replicated in game as well. But let's go ahead and talk about my predictions about this that are coming to the game, how it could be in the game. Tylosaurus in game could be similar to like it is in real life. And what I mean by that, I mean like it's going to be a big marine reptile, and it's also going to have that varied diet as well, because there are a lot of things to eat in the aquatic realms. Of course, it will have prey in the water with the likes of the AI fish, the AI sharks, the AI turtles. Then you've got other playables as well, like Urinosaurus, which is soon to come, probably the next playable to release, and Kaiwekia, which is currently in the game. Now, I think that those two creatures could be faster than Tylosaurus. However, I think Tylosaurus could either be one of the two, a short burst of speed ambush predator or a long-ranging stamina hunter. And I think it's going to be more of like that long-range stamina hunter, because especially when you look at its bigger prey, which is leedsichthys, it's going to need that stamina. That being said, I don't think this creature is going to get the same dart mechanic that Kaiwekia has. You know, the mechanic that allows it to just jump out the water and go straight to the moon? Yeah, that one. I don't think Tylosaurus will get that, mainly because, you know, I think it's mainly just going to get a lunge where it can go a bit faster in the water, kind of do damage to what it's hitting, and gives it a good opportunity to grab stuff. Like, it'll be more akin to a lunge and grab, like what Sarcosuchus is probably going to get. This will also be a big game hunter, because it's going to be a big creature. I'm going to say it's going to be more of a 5 slot as well, but that should be enough for 2 of you in a group to hunt down a leedsichthys. However, I'm also going to say that leedsichthys will probably be a 5 slot creature as well. For smaller creatures, I think Tylosaurus could get a grab mechanic, which will be similar to that of Sarcosuchus. This is going to be where like it could grab something and drown it, or grab it and until its stamina is gone, it will hold on to it. A grab and hold mechanic, so to say. This is something that we know Sarcosuchus is going to get, and I feel like Tylosaurus could be one that could get that as well. Imagine this, you're swimming across the ocean, trying to get to Red Island as a just like a Deinonychus or some kind of a dinosaur. All of a sudden you get dragged down by a Tylosaurus that bites you, takes you down to the depths. Yeah, it's going to be a scary time to cross any ocean now. Attack wise, I feel like these will be its main attacks. A standard bite, a charge up bone break attack, maybe a lunge forward where doing that lunge forward it deals damage to anything that gets in its way. And of course, perhaps as the final, maybe less damage kind of thing, it could incorporate its tail. Now, I know you're going to hate me for this one, but Velocci, this shouldn't be using its tail. It's an aquatic reptile, none of the others do. But have you seen how some sharks hunt, like the fresher sharks, they slap things with their tail, or killer whales, the way they launch things out the air by also using their tail? If you get hit by a tail from a big marine reptile, it's gonna hurt, and I think that could either have some form of knockback or stun ability to it, which will be very, very handy. And for passive abilities, I think you could get one of 2 group abilities, as well as another ability where you could see further in the water, like what Sarcosuchus has on the public test branch. I feel like as a passive group ability, maybe a group ability that reduces the stamina drain, or a group ability that increases the damage buff. For combat abilities, I think maybe some stunning or debuffs to the enemies, for example one that debuffs their combat prowess for a little time, or the simple grab and hold mechanic that I think will be needed from the combat update. That being said, Tylosaurus is going to be a very exciting creature, and I'd love to know what you think about it in the comments down below. Are you excited for this one? I'd love to know what you think, and what are your predictions for it? Let me know in the comments. And there we have it. That is Tylosaurus. But first, before we stop, what are the predictions for when it releases? I think we'll know more when the next 2 aquatics release. Oh, well, next aquatic and flyer releases. You know, you've got Urinosaurus and Hatzegopteryx, which are the 2 next creatures that are coming to the game. And probably after that, we'll find out a little bit more about what the other 2 creatures are coming to the game. Maybe it could be Tylosaurus, leedsichthys, and Rhamphorhynchus. Either way, it's going to be exciting, and I think it's going to be coming later this year, anywhere between October and December, mainly because I feel like they're getting the combat update out the way first, and once that's done, they will then release some more creatures. I think no new creatures until the combat update's done. Once that's done, we'll see more creatures. Let me know what you think. When do you think it'll release? I'd love to know what you think. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, that's everything with Tylosaurus. If you are new, feel free to subscribe. But other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.